with you, always, forever, near and far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you.
Nag-start na.
Okay.
A minute ago.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to
Thursdays with Toni
and Trish. So, Toni, how are you doing? Kamusta naman?
I am currently very, very happy for all the love that we've received for our first episode. Thank you so much to our friends, to our loved ones, and to whoever has seen our video. Thank you very much, and we do hope that you continue to support us in our following episodes. How about you, Trish? How have you been?
Well, I actually had a productive day so far. I'm quite tired, but I still have that energy for us to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you are right. We've been overwhelmed by the views. I didn't expect that it would be that way. I'm thankful for our friends who really supported and commented to our first episode. Please know that Toni and I are very grateful for all the love that you've been giving us, even if it's just virtual. So, anyway, today is gonna be our episode 2. It's gonna be about relationships. So, guys, tonight I will be the moderator, so that means I will be asking Toni several questions about relationships. This covers our relationship to ourselves, our friends, and those special ones, the boyfriend and girlfriend part.
Of course.
And since Toni, you are, I must say, you've gone through long-term relationships. I will bring up topics to ask you questions with regards to these. Okay, so I wanted to start first with ourselves. How do you start loving yourself, or how to start loving yourself before loving others? I really think this is an important question that I would like to start with.
Yes. Loving yourself sometimes can be difficult because sometimes you don't know where to begin. But I think the simple answer to this is to really allow yourself to do the things that will make you happy, do the things that you love, without focusing on how people will interpret it, as long as, of course, you have your boundaries and all that. Because if you allow yourself to really do things that are important to you, that matter to you, it will eventually give you the love that you need. And once you have that love, is only when you can actually give more love to others, right? How about you, Trish?
For me, by conventional wisdom, of course, the answer is yes. The real answer really is much more complex than that. And it also makes me think, do we really need to love ourselves first before you can love someone else? And for me, yes, because loving yourself certainly makes it easier for you to love someone else. And when you accept and love yourself, you don't need someone else's approval or love, or you are likely to believe that you will find someone who you will love and who will love you. But on the other hand, of course, if you don't love yourself, if you're critical, if you're unaccepting of yourself, you probably find it difficult to believe naman that other people can really accept and love you. So, returning to the question whether we need to love ourselves first before we love someone else, it is essential that you understand and accept that all people have struggles within themselves, that no matter how we uplift them, no matter how often we compliment them, diba? Because ultimately, living life means growing and changing. So hopefully, as we mature in life, we would be able to love ourselves and accept a better self-accepting version of ourselves in our relationship with others. So, since now we're transitioning to topic from self-love to friendships, ako honestly, I really love maintaining small group of friends. I certainly am not as sociable as you are. It's just hard to maintain a big set of circle as an introvert, but I always believe in the power of human connection, that we need each other. So I wanted to know your side first, Toni. What type of friends we should keep?
Being young adults, I really believe that we should keep those who genuinely make us feel and show us that we are loved and we are valued, and that they accept us for who we are, and that they understand that we all have our differences. Having individuals who are really capable of understanding that it's not all the time that you have the same perspectives on issues, on different matters going on in the world. I think it's something valuable, because despite those differences, like we do, even though we're best friends, we have completely different views on a lot of things, but it just makes the bond stronger. That's one thing. Another is when you find friends who, despite their busy lives as adults, despite having other priorities aside from the friendship, but can always make time for you whenever you need them. Say you just need someone to talk to, or you just need someone to listen, and that friend or friends are really willing to drop everything just to be there for you. You've hit the jack. You've hit the jackpot, really. How about you, Trish?
For me, the type of friends that we should keep are the ones that really are close to us. I know we encounter four different types of friendships. Of it is actually categorized to four. So we meet those, acquaintances, the ones that we meet as a classmate, the ones that we meet at parties. We also have the general close friends, probably because you've been close to that person because you're office mates. You always talk often, and and there are the ones that are close to you, and another one is your best friend, which is you're already in that highest rank. And I personally would like to keep those who are very close, and of course you. And the acquaintance and general friends is actually just a bonus. They are the typical ones that come and go, and I have no problem constantly checking up on them from time to time. But in terms of maintaining the ones that you should keep, I like it with those who have been trustworthy with me, who have been reliable and honest with me through the test of time. So that's my standard of the ones that I should keep. Okay, so Tony, we mentioned about the type of friendships or friends that we meet in our lifetime. I would like to seize this opportunity to talk about the beauty of women friendships and also the perks of having men around our friendship circle.
Well, I think I've learned to appreciate more female friendships when I entered my adulthood. Mainly because growing up, I've always wanted to have an older brother, and so my friends, especially in high school, were mostly males. And it's not bad because it's also an advantage in the sense that you somewhat have a free pass to know what's going on in a male's mind, to know how unfiltered their thoughts can be. And that's a good thing because it can someone teach you how to be more cautious whenever you interact with males, whether they're your friends or not. With female friendships, though, it's also a different story and something that I'm very, very glad that I have at the moment with you, Jen, Cami, Nicole, and you also have Merge. It's something nice because the common notion in the society is that females have something to be insecure about among female friendships. And I am just so proud that we don't have that in our circle because we actually lift each other up. Like women empowerment, right? I love it so much. I can genuinely feel that we are there for each other's wins. We are there when anyone is down, when someone needs someone to listen to them. We also hear genuine how they say it, kind words, praises. The support is so real, it's so strong. But the thing is, even though we have so much compassion with female friendships, we also have that area where we can be honest with each other when we need to be called out for something wrong that we're doing, when we need to be picked up from our dreams and be brought back to reality that, hey girl, you need to wake up, this is life happening, you need to stop procrastinating, or you need to stop putting yourself down, because at the end of the day you should just pick yourself up, and along the way you have us with you, right? How about you, Trish? What's your views on that?
Well, for me, I took women friendship for granted because I actually have been exposed to some female friends who really will backstab you.
Yes.
Who will just be plastic, in terms of treating you. They will just be nice when you're there, but when you're not there, they'll speak behind your back. So I really thought that this is the kind of women friendship that we can have these days, and that led me to think that maybe having a few men around in my circle would be beneficial for me because they can be very straight up honest with you. And you know that very well that when we were in college, we blend well by being friends with different guys, good
Yes.
guys, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
growing up with my dad, it really taught me that men can teach you things that you sometimes overlook as a woman, and they would be very generous with you, especially when it comes to advice and sometimes when it comes to meals, right?
Yes.
However, I also have overlooked in women friendships that there were the ones they were actually some girls who really changed your life. And for me, one of that would be Merch and you, plus Jeng and Nicole and Cami. They'd be honest with you. They won't try to be nice with you when you're just there. And for me, I think the kind of circle that I have now, I really am thankful, because I didn't feel that I should be just nice. I should just be pretty in front of them. I can also show my bad side, my
Yeah.
sad side, and it's normal that there will be drama in this type of friendship. But I am still thankful that to God on how much these women, you guys, have molded me into a better woman, and that is to be more compassionate, to be more understanding, to be more supportive, and to believe that there is a power in womanhood. Okay, so speaking of men in our circle, we know that there are some instances that some of them would just try to be friends with you, but really they just wanted to date you. It's just their step for them to get closer to you. So we'll now transition to the boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. I will be asking you this question because I'm not experienced with this, and I wanted to know your side. So what are the things that you have learned in this type of relationships, and what were the red flags that you could have not ignored?
When it comes to the lessons I've learned, I'd say it's really nice because when you have a partner in life, you have someone you can share things with. When you're in a serious and matured relationship, you also treat your partner like your best friend. And that's one of the things that will strengthen the relationship. What's also nice is you get to be a part of someone else's life and be there in their ups and their downs. Learn to compromise. Learn to try other things. Try to be more adventurous. Try to be more understanding. Extend your patience and all that. But reality is, when we enter relationships when we were younger, there had been some red flags that we were not able to recognize or probably accept because we were probably just in so much into love that we were not able to focus on those things. So probably one of the things that I can say at this point that should have been a red flag for me, being someone that is outgoing and sociable and extrovert and all that, is the fact that a partner that I would want is someone who would be able to mingle with my friends and would also put a little extra effort in making sure that he gets along with my friends. Because as you know, as someone passionate about relationships, I try my best to get in the good shoes of my partner. And it's because I acknowledge and accept that those individuals have already been in the life of my partner prior to my arrival. And so I think it's just right that I make the effort for them to somewhat like me, not to please them, but to make my partner see that I love him so much that I am willing to make adjustments to the people who are already in his life when I came.
Yeah, I think it really is important for your boyfriend, your future boyfriend, to socialize with your friends, because these are the people that you love, right? And you don't want that to compromise the fun whenever you guys meet, because of course these are the people that will be with you for the rest of your lives, and it should not be awkward in the first place. You should love the ones that you love.
Of
Same
course.
with your family.
Of course.
All right. And also, I wanted to have this follow-up question. I wanted to know, what should you do if you see that you are in a relationship that is not growing?
The thing is, I've been there. Probably in the beginning, I was not able to acknowledge it immediately. But eventually, as you know, once you realize that as individuals, you're no longer growing together. And this is despite you being supportive of each other's dreams and goals. The key is to really accept that there are times when you need to grow as individuals outside of the relationship. And that's something so heartbreaking because it eventually has to lead to a breakup. However, the beauty is that once you get to accept it, you'll know that you really love the person because even if it's hard, even if it's heartbreaking to go through a breakup, you know that it's for the best of each other, right? I think it may sound cheesy, but if you guys are really destined to be for one another, if in the future you're already established, you were already able to grow as individuals, you've already developed your characters, then I really believe that fate will have a way of having you two meet again.
Yes, yeah. And I really think that's the purpose of why God created relationships. And that is solely for us to grow, to be a better person, and not really just depend on each other. We should have that growth in ourselves while we are in a relationship. And if that will if being in a relationship won't even make you grow, then what is the purpose, right? It will
Yes.
just, it won't work eventually. You will see that it's not, what's the point of being in a relationship if you're not growing? So I think if you really are not growing in your relationship, sadly you have to, break apart, because you have to grow as a person before you settle down. Okay, so right now, I wanted to ask you a question that I have no answer. I don't know if I already have asked this question to you before. It's about the after breakup. I wanted to know, Tony, do you believe in 3 months rule?
I don't have a straight answer for this, but definitely my stand when it comes to the interval between a breakup and entering a new relationship is that whether it's a mutual breakup or not, every failed relationship needs to have a time for mourning. You shouldn't postpone or delay the mourning stage because what will happen is that the next relationship can just end up being a rebound. And we don't want that because, well, unless you're still not looking to settle down in life, then be it. But of course, we should also be mindful of how people, of other people's feelings, that is. I think every heart needs to mend first before we can give back ourselves into another relationship because you cannot give something that is you cannot give a part of you if a part of you is broken. You need to make sure first that you've completely healed because you may just end up bringing your broken pieces to the new relationship, and that's gonna be unfair to your new partner.
Yeah, that's true, in so many ways. You know what? I really can't give you a straight answer when it comes to this. That's why I asked your side, and I think we're both on the same page. Yes, in a way that I don't want naman kasi na to impose timelines, emotional timelines on others. I think if you're ready to love, if you've prayed about it, then go ahead. In a way na I have an answer, partly no, because you may be ready, hypothetically speaking, to commit in this new relationship with this new guy. However, the question is, were you able to grieve and reflect and learn over your past relationship?
Exactly.
And I think this is very important for us to reflect and give closure whenever we transition in a new season of our lives. Diba?
Well said.
Okay, so while we've been single for years already, it's more than 3 months, and I believe that you already have a reflection to this about being single. What is the beauty of having a relationship with yourself while you are still in the waiting phase?
I think the beauty of being able to focus on your relationship with yourself during the time when you're still single is that you get to know yourself better. you get to learn what your non-negotiables are, especially when it comes to relationships. Because when you enter a relationship in your younger years, you have a bigger tolerance for things. And as you grow old, you realize that there are things that should be categorized under the non-negotiables, because probably it may affect your principles, your values and beliefs, which should never be at risk whenever you enter a relationship. Because entering a relationship should be two people, like uh, being able to compromise and meet halfway despite the differences that exist. Also, during your single period, when you have the strong relationship with yourself, you're able to find happiness within. It's a great thing, because if you're someone who have been very dependent with romantic relationships to say that you're happy, then it's like your wake up call. Because once you get to know yourself, once you get to know what what you really want in life, then it's gonna be easier for you to find it within than to just rely on what people will give you. How about you, Trish?
Well, I've been single for years, so many years,
Uh-huh.
and I think I've already am enjoying the perks and the beauty of being in the waiting phase. I'm not really desperately waiting. I just
Mhm.
leave the door open, and at the same time, I wanted to take the beauty of the chance of being single to get to enjoy my individuality. I get to enjoy my time, my pace. Nobody's gonna rush me to do things. No pressure at all, and I get to enjoy my uniqueness, my talents, and I also can manage my triggers, my emotions, and this gives me time to listen intently to my emotions, my needs and wants as well. But
Mhm.
most of all, Tony, I think this is the greatest lesson I'm learning currently is this gives you opportunity to make peace with your broken pieces,
Definitely.
right?
Mhm. You
Okay,
know what?
so
Just a quick one on that note.
mm,
The greatest joy that you can give yourself is being at peace with yourself. Because once you learn to forgive yourself for the wrongs that you've done in every relationship you've been in, it's a very rewarding feeling, because that's just what makes us human, acknowledging that we make mistakes. But we should not stop there, because we always have the opportunity to become better versions of ourselves.
yes, that is right. You know what? This talk has been very reflective to us, and
Mhm.
we've learned to appreciate, to love ourselves, to appreciate our friendship, and also to appreciate our waiting phase as a single, and appreciate us as single women. So before we close, Tony, we're about to end. I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you what would you like to say to our viewers right
Mhm.
now? Some takeaways.
I think in every relationship, we should always be reminded that everything worth having is worth the wait. How about you?
For me, you don't need a certain number of friends, just a number of friends that you can be certain
Um,
of. Thank you so much for watching. See you on our next episode. This is
Thursdays with Tony.
and Trish. Have a
Thank
great night,
you.
everyone.
Take care.
And
Bye.
far closer together everywhere I will be with you.